Alright, so I know I promised in my Code of the Duelist box opening video that I wanted to do one of this archetypes in Code of the Duelist for my first Link deck profile, but I did try out Gokis for a little while, and I do have Trick Stars for the most part finished, just missing one more card for the deck, and I can show that. But in the meantime, I'm playing around with a couple different, I guess, older decks, and I guess adapting them to the Link format, or the new summoning mechanic, rather. And I've been having a lot of fun with these. The first one I want to show is, as you can see, there's a mechaba, and there's a Blue Eyes White Dragon, so it's Invoked Blue Eyes. It's a really, really fun deck that honestly doesn't really care much about the Link summoning mechanic, because more often than not, you're only going to be making like one extra deck monster per turn, just because of the way the different engines work. No, I do have a couple more decks ready. I want to get an ABC deck done as quickly as possible. It's just the deck right now as it is. It's kind of hard to play, at least until we get Destrudo and Circuit Breaker, the next core set. So hopefully that card will be pretty easy to get for all the guys wanting to play ABC. And then I do have a Metal Foes deck that got some playtesting in and been having a lot of fun playing that deck. So that one will probably come next. But yeah, this one, it's really, really interesting. Really glad to pick up Blue Eyes, and now the stuff's been kind of reprinted. Fortunately, still using the old SDK artworks. I wanted to get some of the ones from the new Mega Tins, but only got one from the tin I purchased. Everyone else in my locals purchased Yugi tins, but not many people purchased the tins, my locals, at least where I live right now, because here in Southeast Texas, the weather is kind of rough right now, so just put it that way if you guys know about that situation. But enough dilly-dallying, we'll get into the deck itself. So kind of have our standard Blue Eyes lineup. 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons goes without saying. Any Blue Eyes deck runs 3 of this without question. They're running 3 copies of Alternative, also kind of standard. 2 Dragon Spirit of White, also standard. Cut it down to 2 Sage, because getting your tuners isn't absolutely necessary, and then his hand trap effect isn't entirely necessary. It's just there to get a light target on field if you want to make either Twin Burst or Mechaba. And then we're also running 2 copies of White Stone of Ancients. And then also, with a twist, we're also running 2 copies of Blue Eyes Chaos Max. Now, a lot of people don't really like the Chaos Max build just because it has to play a couple more bricky cards like Manjus and your ritual spells. But you can get to your key cards in this deck insanely easy with all the generic draw power you have, and plus the searching you have for your ritual spells, and being able to search this off of Melody of the Awakening Dragons, which is also really, really nice. And then plus, it's also been recently announced in the next legendary deck set, the Dragons box. TCG is going to be getting the errata for Chaos Emperor Dragons, so that card's more than likely going to get unbanned on the next ban list. So you can incorporate that into this deck because Chaos Max is dark, your Invoked Fusions are dark, along with Alistair. And also you can search Chaos Emperor Dragon off of Melody, so that'll give you another, I guess, really big, powerful monster to play in the deck. But Chaos Max in and of itself is really, really easy to get to, and it's just a really dumb, and I hate to use this word, but ignorant card. 4K Beatstick that's immune to targeting or destruction is really, really powerful, and plus 4,000 with piercing is also really, really hard to get over. So there's not really like too much that gets over him, but he's still a really strong monster, especially against like Dryden and Masterpiece. They just can't pop it because he's immune to destruction. Plus, you can just run him over because he's Chaos Max and he doesn't care about what you think. And then, since we're playing the Chaos Max variant, we're playing 3 Manjus, primarily to search the ritual spells. If you want to, you can play Senjus, but Manju just has a little more utility in case you do have the ritual spell and you want to search Chaos Max and you don't have the melody necessary to search it. And then, since we're playing the Invoked Engine, we're also playing 3 copies of Alistair. Use the Heart and Soul of the Invoked Engine. That is it for our monster count for our spells. Of course, goes without saying. 3 Melody, standard in any Blue Eyes deck, searches Blue Eyes, Alternative, and Chaos Max. Also, fair enough, if you want to place another deck, you can search Rainbow Dragon off of this, because Rainbow Dragon has at least 3,000 attack and 2,500 less defense, so 4K and 0, you can see how that goes. Searches all those, and like I mentioned earlier, it searches Chaos Emperor Dragon, so once they get some ban, we can search it with this. 3 copies of trade-in, because we run a lot of level 8s, and you can just ditch from the grave to get 3+1. We have Return of the Dragon Lords, bring back any of your dragons, except for Chaos Max, because you can only be Ritual Summon, which kind of sucks. Bring them back, and then give yourself a little bit of protection in grave, which is pretty cool. The 2 Advanced Ritual Art, probably the better ritual spell. Just a Foolish Burial, and gets out Chaos Max from your hand, which is really cool. Then also double Chaos Form, because they're both like, I know I just said Advanced Ritual Art's a little bit better, but Chaos Form's still pretty good too. Ritual summons Chaos Max by getting stuff out of your grave or banishing it, so it has its utility there. And then because the Invoked engine, we're playing, of course, 3 Meltdowns, 2 Terraformings, and 2 Invocation, because all these cards are insanely searchable. Other than Terraforming, but Terraforming gets you to Meltdown, which gets you to Alistair, which in turn gets you to an Invocation, and you guys should know how the Invoked engine works. That is it for the main deck. Now for the extra deck, I would be playing 2 copies of Mechaba, but I only have 1 at the moment. Need to pick up a second one, but just in playtesting, Pbot played against me proxying the second Mechaba, but in playtesting, I may want to cut this up to 3. I'm not 100% sure the extra deck. For this deck, as hard as it is to believe, it's kind of tight, even though you only summon 1 extra monster per turn. It's just like more of a toolbox, essentially, but he's the main Invoke Fusion you're going for because the majority of your deck's light, except for Alistair and Chaos Max. And then we're also playing 1 Kaliga. Kind of hurts you. It's just like it's just like a watered down version of El Shaddai Winda, essentially just more of a lockdown. Smaller fusion, you sit on this, so you can activate 1 effect per turn. Sitting on this in a Chaos Max is probably one of your better boards. It's any of these Invoked Fusions and Chaos Max is just a really, really strong board. Being able to stop monster effects, and then you can only attack 1 monster per battle phase, but you don't really care because 4K beat stick with double piercing. Then also because we can actually make in this deck, we have a Twin Burst Dragon because it's Invoked Blue Eyes. We fusion summon. And then for our synchros, should be kind of standard. Double Spirit Dragon, don't really need to explain this in Blue Eyes. Tags out any level 7 Light Dragon Synchro or Azure Eyes. Also stops graveyard effects. And then can stop Pendulum Summons since they're kind of hurt by the new summoning mechanic, so it's, I guess, decent against Pendulum decks. Azure Eye is also pretty standard in any Blue Eyes deck. Then for our Light Synchros, we're playing Black Rose Moonlight and Michael. And then in case we do get a level 7 Synchro on the field that we tagged out with Spirit Dragon, we can play a Crystal Wing. If you want to, you could also run Global Bulb in here, just I couldn't find the space because the deck right now is pretty tight. And then for the Xyz, we're playing Heliopolis, Harbinger Dragon for stopping spells and popping cards. Then we have Cypher Dragon, which can take one of their monsters, turn into Xyz, and you can overlay into a Flammer Photon. And Dark Matter Dragon and dump a lot of cards to the grave, so... yeah, this build, as it is right now, is not the final draft. This is just what I've been testing with recently and been having a lot of fun with this deck. Now, some people may not like this just because it's missing a lot of, like, really, really key cards for Blue Eyes. Like, it doesn't play Felgrand or Arcbrave, which I know some people quit playing. It doesn't play Galaxy Soldiers or Morphage Goliath or anything like that. No Silver's Cry, no Dragon Shrine. It's just this deck doesn't want to focus more on Blue Eyes than it does Invoked. The Invoked just kind of goes hand in hand with the Blue Eyes, with this engine. Even though there are more Blue Eyes cards than Invoked cards, and that may sound weird, but the Invoked engine actually blends really, really well with Blue Eyes, and especially building a strong board of either a Mechaba or a Kaliga with a Chaos Max is a pretty strong board that a lot of decks just have trouble dealing with. But yeah, like I said, this deck's pretty fun, pretty decent for a small locals level. But probably not something I'd take to regionals, at least as it is right now, because the deck's still in testing. But yeah, that's basically it for the deck. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. It may get some hate just because it's Chaos Max, and now people like Chaos Max because it's quote-unquote a helmet deck. But yeah, as I mentioned, I will have some more deck profiles coming soon in the decks I'm testing, and also I'm going to try and start doing some videos at locals. Because a lot of people have been wanting to do videos on my YouTube channel, we're going to try and do some pack opening videos, some deck profiles and stuff at locals, and if we can get the right camera setup, then we'll probably do some duels, just between fun decks, not like anything like super meta relevant, like we're going to do True Draco versus Zodiac. No, everybody knows how that goes. We're going to do something over some like duels between decks that you don't really see too often, but yeah, that's basically it for the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and as always, I will catch you guys later.